How's it going, everybody? Just testing this stuff out. Just let me know if you could even hear me. Still got to put together my studio and stuff, but in the meantime, this is what I have to work with. But first and foremost, I'm just testing to make sure this shit works. I've been having a lot of problems with it, but the whole point of this is I have a lot of things that go on as far as policing in my daily life, and I can't explain all this stuff on on Twitter or on Facebook or Instagram. It's just easier to give updates this in this way. How's the volume? Does it sound okay? Sounds good. Doesn't look good. I honestly I wouldn't even wear my sunglasses, but I got sunburned today. The first time we had some sun, or I had sun because I've been sick. So I figured the best way to present some of the things that go on a daily basis is by doing something like this on a daily basis. Um, How's it going, everybody? Just wait a few minutes for people to get in. You guys have any questions, let me know too. Sounds good. Kathy, what's up? I was just talking to Kathy earlier. What's up, LA Deb? Sweetest person on earth. What's going on, streets? How you been? I've been good, man. You look like you lost weight. When you throw out, last week, or I say last week, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, I threw up in total 18 times. Started throwing up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Between 2 o'clock and like 10 o'clock, I threw up 16 times. Then around 12 o'clock, I think I threw up like the 17th and threw up one more time later that night. Then I'm like, man, I'm good. So I'm like, man, I'm just going to go. I'm going to eat what I want. I didn't, I was smart with it. But then next day I woke up and it was just a whole different set of ailments, to the point where for 2 days, until yesterday, until last night, I couldn't get off my couch. I was just laying there. It was one of those things where I'm laying there and the remote is 8 feet away. I didn't even want to move to get that. I was like, my phone fell behind the couch. It's like, fuck it. It's going to have to sit there. Thank God I got another one. But all right, guys, I'm just learning how to do this stuff. I'm new to this, but I'm a quick learner. So what I'm going to do is I want to go over some of the things, some updates on cases that I've been working on over the course of the last couple of weeks. I have my guy, Philip Ruiz. He's a senior lead officer over in the Mission Division. He's a creep. I made a video about him. You guys can go back and check on in my archive. It's a video about how, he had a girlfriend that he used to beat up. He pulled her off the bed by her hair, which is, think about that. Pull somebody off that bed by their hair. Was constantly harassing her. Hit her in the back, I believe. Finally, she said, I had enough of this. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. And he didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear the fact that she was going to leave him. So he started stalking her. He stalked her to a party, and he followed her into the party and just sat there watching her for however long, which is creepy as hell. And I think he called her a hoe on the way out. And then there was another incident. It was right over here in Hollywood. She was at a concert. He saw her there. He went, and when she got up, he tried to start a fight with her boyfriend, and it was just ghetto as hell and crazy. Then later on, when the police came and made him get back into his seat on the other area where he was at, when she went to the bathroom later on, he followed her. And then I guess when she was coming out of the bathroom, he grabbed her by the arm, pulled her to the side, grabbed her in her crotch, which is, I gotta tell you something, that's a crime. It's a crime, grabbing somebody in a crotch like that, and called her a hoe. He snuck into her office when she wasn't at work, snuck in there, went to her office, was going through her stuff, and then was waiting for her in there when she came walking in. This is a Lifetime movie. This is, in the Lifetime movies that don't end well. I think Lifetime movies have a higher propensity of things going fucked up. You go to a regular movie, everybody gets saved in the end. Lifetime movie, you think everything's fine, and all of a sudden the husband blows up the kids and the whole family, and then that's the end of the movie. You're just left there like, what the fuck happened? But this guy is a Lifetime movie type stuff. He even, what did he say to her? I guess he contacted the new boyfriend and is like, I bet that she's sucking your blah, you can figure it out, like she used to do with me, which is like, what is your problem, guy? Well, why don't you move on? You're a fucking creep. And then he told her that for Halloween she should dig up her dead kid and put him on display as a Halloween ornament decoration. So yeah, this guy is a senior lead officer over in the mission division. And keep in mind, senior lead officer, they're considered like the mini chief of police in an area, right? They're part of they're the liaison to the community. It was started by, I don't know how many years ago it was started, but the whole point of it is we're going to reach out to the community, and well, this is who they have reaching out to community. You want this guy reaching out to your community? Now, nobody knew about this. Yeah, I had this when I put together that video. It had his family and friends saying, no, this can't be true. I'm like, you talking about it can't be true? I got this from internal affairs documents. If you don't like it, go talk to the LAPD. This is not my problem. I'm just a messenger here. And so, yeah, it's, now you don't believe the cops, huh? But yeah, the guy was a real creep. So anyway, I made that video about that, and I uncovered new documents. Let me pull it up here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Just give me a second. Like I said, I'm just learning to work with this stuff, so I'm going to be a little slow at first. I'll let you guys watch the work, what databases I use to look up cop stuff. Let's do, share that. Okay. So I'm going to go to Pinpoint. Of course, I hear a bunch of sirens going off on outside. Makes me just want to jump up and see what the hell is going on. So this is a database my guy made of all that. You hear that? Come on now. What am I supposed to do? I hear that, and I'm like, guys, I gotta leave the stream for a second. This is a database put together of all the LAPD 1421, SB 1421 documents. Again, what is 1421? SB 1421 says, it's a bill that said that the LAPD has to share certain documents with you. So California law says that officer personnel files are off limits. You can't look at them. SB 1421 amended that and said, no, certain files should be provided when requested, and that's related to anything with a deadly use of force, sexual assault, sexual harassment, sex crimes, sexual misconduct, lying or dishonesty, illegal searches, discrimination, right? So there have been a couple thousand documents related to SB 1421s that have been released. They release it onto a website called Next Request. It's the city portal where all documents are shared, but with certain offices. A lot of offices just don't even opt into using Next Request. What we found is that the LAPD releases on there, but sometimes they retract those documents. They don't want that roster. They don't want anybody to see that roster. They release something they feel different about now. So rather than have them redact or pulling out these documents, my guy right here archived all of this. Now let's see right here. So here is his Board of Rights paper documents, right? So pursuant to Senate Bill 1421, it went into effect in January 2019, blah, blah, blah. So this is his Board of Rights thing. So after you are found, you get a sustained complaint, chief will give a certain recommendation as far as penalty, and you can appeal it to the Board of Rights. So he appealed this to the Board of Rights. Now, what is this? This right here is not a document that I had in the video I made. This is not a document that I had in the video that was made. This is a separate incident from, I don't know if it was a year before it or so, of him being suspended for beating up the same woman. The same woman. So in the video, this guy, like I said, he did all that stuff. He harassed her, he grabbed her by the crotch, and he got himself like 150-day suspension. But before that, he had gotten a 10-day suspension for assault on the same woman. How many times are you gonna have, are you gonna do this? So anyway, let's go through this. Let me see here. Let's skim through. So the charges that you've been found guilty of, as you're aware, are very serious indeed. This is particularly true given your prior complaint history. What? Involving issues related to domestic violence. So this guy has a whole history related to the domestic violence. You were given the opportunity through disciplinary process to modify your behavior. You took a 10-day suspension. Remember, he'd been suspended 10 days before this. 10 days. I mean, not 10 days before this. He got a 10-day suspension before this. This is his new suspension. You took a 10-day suspension on that complaint rationale, assured your commanding officer that you learned from your mistake, and that similar behavior would not occur again. Unfortunately, and that's what they said there, unfortunately, Officer Ruiz, it did occur again. It occurred again. Another domestic violence incident, which places us in a very tough position today. It is the rationale for the findings on the charges. In this case, we address in the issue a number of times about you as a Los Angeles police officer being held to a higher standard. Shut the fuck up. A higher standard. You held him to a higher standard, but yet he keeps on doing this. You're not firing him. No, you're not holding him to a higher standard. Conduct, blah, blah, blah. Let's go. Let's skim to this. Clash on occasion occurred. You were an employee. Man, I hear the helicopters outside. So I heard the sirens and the helicopters. That's some good shit. And so the board considered the 14 charges for which you are guilty. The most serious of those being various aspects of domestic abuse. I gotta tell you guys, somebody breaks up with you and you against her will. It doesn't matter if you're together or not together. But she broke up with you, she's with her boyfriend, and you come over and you grab her crotch, that's a crime. Okay, that's not domestic abuse. The LAPD, that's what they call it. And it says here in the board, domestic abuse was the issue for this board. The board observed through the testimony that you and the victims of the cycle of abuse, blah, blah, blah. On the other hand, let's get right to the good part. The board noted that your prior sustained complaint in which the allegations were classified as domestic violence, you showed a lack of judgment in your efforts to prevent redacted, because they redact the shit out of stuff. But the behavior exhibited as a result of this anger brought discredit to yourself, your family, and the department. Oh, save me the bullshit. If you really felt that way, that he's discrediting the department, you get his punk ass out of there and fire him. What does it take to get this guy fired? However, the board noted that the relationship was unique in that both of you were actively antagonistic. So you got to blame the victim. You got to blame the victim that she was equally antagonistic. I told him, this is why this attitude right here is the reason why women don't want to join the LAPD. They have 8,750 officers. Around 21% of them are women. I don't know the exact numbers. And it's this type of attitude, that she's antagonistic. She deserved to get grabbed in the crotch when she's out with her new boyfriend because you know what? She's antagonistic. My God. Oh my God. The board took note of the 8 character witness produced on your behalf, because when you have those character witnesses come out, you know what I'm saying? You have your partner, a couple of other cops, whoever you fucking had come in. I don't care. Character witnesses don't matter. Look at his conduct. This guy sat there. He actually, I forgot this. He said in the message that he was going to kill her and her new boyfriend. If that isn't enough, don't call that domestic abuse. That's a fucking, come on now. If I did that, if I sent somebody a message saying, I'm going to kill you and your new boyfriend, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. Trust me, they've arrested me for way less. After weighing all the evidence, physical and charge that you were found guilty and prior sustained complaint of this board's unanimous recommendation to the chief that you were suspended for 129 days. So 10 days before, now you got suspended for 129 days. Where is that one part? Because they made some really wild claims. Actively antagonistic, indicate that your relationship or your physically, excuse your conduct. Anyway, so the whole point of this guy's been suspended before. Why is he allowed to stay on the force? This guy is in a leadership position on the local level for the mission division. You know, and I gotta tell you, the mission division is a whole fucked up division. They have a history. You know, I broke this story before the LA Times, even though they want to take credit for it. But they had, I'm sitting on a Stabilable because I don't sit on regular chairs. They kill my back. They had their gang unit was pulling people over and robbing them. They weren't documenting the stops. They were just pulling people over, didn't have their body camera running, never put in the system, and were robbing people. The gang unit was a gang. This is the mission division. Mission division, I believe that it's so far out there in the valley that the LAPD says they'll send the worst motherfuckers out there. Just get them out of sight, these motherfuckers. Because, you know, Hollywood cops have their own degenerates, but they generally put I'm not going to say the better cops, but more professional cops, I guess, over here. Valley, they just put anybody. I assume the same with like Southeast too. So anyway, so that's the situation. That is the situation with Philip Ruiz. So if you guys live in the Valley Mission Division, you see Philip Ruiz around, ask him, does he still beat his woman up? Oh, you know, I took it down. There was another part in there where they said that did not constitute a pattern of violence. Oh man, now I got to pull it up again. That didn't constitute a pattern of violence because why? Because he did it against the same woman. If he did it against a different woman, then that would be a pattern. But since he keeps on committing domestic violence against the same woman, that's not a pattern. Which is, what the fuck are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here? I don't even want to look at him again. Philip Ruiz, he's disgusting. And on top of it here, let me show you. All I gotta show you is you just look at this guy and you can tell he's something's wrong with him, man. You know, you can look somebody in the eyes. I hate that, you know, you kind of don't want to just judge people by the way their eyes look, right? But here, actually, let me find that part. Issue, just the pattern. Let me, it's the pattern part. All right. Yeah. The board considered the issue of negligent retention in this case in examining the facts of the prior sustained complaint, right? This is a doozy right here. And the circumstances of this complaint, the board, after careful review, guys, they reviewed it carefully. It's so careful. After careful review, the board does not see this to be an issue in that both sustained complaints are confined to the same relationship and does not necessarily establish a pattern of conduct beyond that relationship. So you know what? I take it as this, right? If you're a cop, you're in a relationship. You just keep on beating the same woman over and over again, and the LAPD is going to cut you some slack because they're going to say, you know, we don't know if you do this outside of this relationship. You know, you get married to her and like, yeah, you beat her, but is this really a pattern? We don't know if you would do this outside of your marriage. So we're going to cut you some slack because you just keep on beating your wife. Nice people you got there, LAPD. Nice people. And like I said, here, hold on a second here. So yeah, let me show you what this guy looks like. Hold on a second here. I didn't have anything prepared beforehand, which I normally would. But I was just like, fuck, I'm just going to wing it. I was having problems connecting to the camera. And so, I mean, look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at this guy right here. Look at those eyes. Look at him. Look at this. That guy right there, he looks the part. He looks the part. That's Philip Ruiz. So if you see that guy, if you're out there in the Mission Division, you live out there in the valley, you bump into this guy, I think you should tell him what you think about him. Do you think this is the type of cop that should be patrolling the streets? Let's see, how much does he make again? Oh man, Philip, look at this, $259,000. This guy makes $259,000. The governor of the governor of California makes how much? $200,000 a year? This guy makes $259,000. This is a weirdo. It's Philip Ruiz. So yeah, that's Philip. So that's the update in that case. Other updates today, I got an update from, let's pull it up. Let's pull it up, guys. Got an update on Aaron's case. Where is this? Remember when Aaron, and what's the 21st, on the 19th of last year in January, 1 year and 2 days ago, he got arrested after his confrontation with Patrick Perry. He said something to Patrick Perry, and Patrick Perry came and hit him over the head with the goddamn stick, and who knows what other weapons he had in his pocket. This guy's always got something in his pocket. Let me see here. Let's add that. So yeah, this is the reply letter I received. Dear Mr. Good, the department completed an investigation into a complaint regarding the conduct of employees of the Los Angeles Police Department that was reported on January 19th, 2024. Your investigation consisted of reviewing relevant department documentation, interviewing witnesses when possible, watching body-worn video footage, and or digital in-car video evidence, if available, and inspecting the location of the occurrence for evidence, if necessary and possible. The investigation has gone through several levels of review prior to final adjudication. All right, went through all that. Now what do they say here? Your allegation that the employees inappropriately handcuffed a detainee, Aaron Smith-Levin, has been classified as unfounded, which means that the investigation determined the allegations did not occur as you described. All right. Now, look, guys. First off, they're talking about a handcuffing. I never alleged that there was just a handcuffing. What I alleged was they falsely arrested Aaron and held him for 4 hours. And people can quibble about whether it was an arrest or not. I'm going to tell you right now. When you put you in handcuffs and then they transport you to a station, you've been arrested. Okay? You haven't been booked. When they actually book you on a charge, then you've been booked. But you've still been arrested. Aaron was arrested. And they didn't say anything about the arrest. They said, well, the handcuffing. I didn't claim anything about a handcuffing. I claimed the arrest. And it just shows you how bullshit they are. Now let me pull this back up again, because it's important to notice this. Now, look at the date on this. This was dated January 16th, 2025. Remember, I filed a complaint January 19th, 2024. This is 3 days short of 1 year. So what happens is, after you file a complaint, they send you a complaint disposition letter. They have, if that's done in 4 months, you can appeal it. And they have a statute of exactly 1 year. So if they send you a complaint disposition after 4 months and you appeal it and it's wrong, they can then change it and sustain the complaint against the officer. So what they consistently do is they wait exactly 1 year or after the statute so that I can't file an appeal. Today's the 21st. This is a complaint I filed on January 19th of last year. I cannot appeal this and change this. And on top of it, it said they looked at all this evidence. They didn't look at my evidence. They didn't reach out to me and say, hey, where is the video of the confrontation of what happened or any of that? They didn't ask for any of that. So they're going off of their own evidence, whatever they choose to be relevant, which is just wrong. I think we all saw that video, that incident, and saw it for what it was. Aaron was battered. Not assaulted, he was battered, which is a higher charge. He was battered. And yet he was handcuffed and stuff. And yet Patrick Perry, it looks like it didn't even have charges pursued against him. So it shows you something. Now, here's the interesting part. This is actually the victim is a white guy. The assailant is a black guy. And it goes to show you that the cops will fuck over anybody. But they'll definitely fuck over anybody on behalf of the Church of Scientology. That's what this was all about. Tim Talman is connected to the Church of Scientology, the guy that arrested Aaron Smith-Levin. Aaron Smith-Levin is a prominent Scientology critic. And so, yeah, they took the side of the Scientologists. If this was reversed, if I came over to the Scientology building or any other protester and I see a Scientologist or something like that, and I just whack him over the head, I'm going to jail. We've seen plenty of people in this movement go to jail over smaller things. I go to jail for the tiniest things. So, I mean, it just goes to show you how full of shit the whole process is. So, yeah. It's not going to be a long one tonight, guys. I just want to just wanted to test it out. I just really want to test the microphone volume, things like that. Guys, any questions? Solomon took over. So that incident made Talman famous. Yeah, Talman's. I saw him a few weeks ago, and Talman was on TV. He was on TV related to a fire that happened before these latest fires. He lives in Malibu, and I guess he came to the aid of one of his neighbors, and the neighbor was on TV, just, stroking his ego, and he was loving every bit of it. But yeah, like I said, this is a very short one. I think normally on these podcasts, they'll probably be more like an hour to an hour and a half long on average. What I just went over with Ruiz, I'm going to go over lots and lots of things with different cops. There's just a lot of stuff that happened. There's a lot of stuff that happened today with the LAPD from emails that they sent me and some documents and stuff that, I didn't even get into tonight. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to end it for tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow. Again, I would have actually been on earlier, except, you have this continuity camera thing where you use your camera as a webcam. I've been having a hard time getting it to connect with the Mac. And so it finally connected. I was ready to give up. I was like, man, this is some fucking bullshit right here. But yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Shout out to the mods.